It was the summer break, and 5 university friends, Mike, Sarah, Tom, Jenny, and Dave, decided to do something different. Instead of the usual beach trips or camping, they opted for a thrill, exploring the infamous St. Augustine Monastery. Isolated deep within a dense forest, the monastery had long been abandoned and was rumored to be haunted. Local legends spoke of mysterious disappearances and eerie occurrences that plagued the area. For the thrill seekers, it was a perfect adventure. The group packed their gear, flashlights, cameras, and a few snacks, anticipating a day of spooky fun and ghost stories. None of them believed in ghosts, but the thrill of the unknown was irresistible. The hike to the monastery was challenging, the thick forest closing in on them as they made their way along the barely visible path. The air grew cooler, and an unsettling silence surrounded them as they approached the ancient structure. The monastery stood imposing and silent, its stone walls covered in ivy and moss. The windows were dark, and the once grand entrance was now a gaping, ominous hole. "Here we are," Mike announced, trying to keep the excitement in his voice. "St. Augustine Monastery. Ready for some ghost hunting?" The group laughed nervously and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, and the faint scent of decay lingered. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing long corridors and rooms filled with relics and old furniture. Strange symbols adorned the walls, and cobwebs hung like curtains. As they explored, the friends joked and took pictures, but a sense of unease began to settle in. The atmosphere grew heavier, and shadows seemed to move just out of sight. Sarah found an old journal tucked away in a drawer. She opened it, revealing pages filled with descriptions of rituals and sacrifices performed by the monks. "Guys, look at this," she said, showing the others. "This place has a seriously creepy history." "Perfect for our adventure," Tom replied, grinning. "Let's keep moving." But as they ventured deeper, the unease turned to fear. Whispers echoed through the halls, and they felt as if they were being watched. Shadows danced at the edge of their vision, and the temperature seemed to drop with every step. Night fell quickly, and the monastery's true nature began to reveal itself. The whispers grew louder, almost as if the walls themselves were speaking. The friends started experiencing hallucinations, seeing figures in monk robes disappearing around corners and hearing footsteps that weren't their own. Tom, who had always been the bravest, began acting strangely. He stared at the symbols on the walls and muttered to himself. One moment, he was with the group. The next, he would vanish, only to reappear with a distant, vacant look in his eyes. "Tom, are you okay?" Jenny asked, worry evident in her voice. "I'm fine," he replied, but his voice was hollow, almost as if it wasn't him speaking. As they continued, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber, a place that seemed untouched by time. In the center stood a ritualistic altar surrounded by ancient artifacts. The journal in Sarah's hand trembled as she read aloud the final entries. The monks had summoned malevolent spirits to protect a hidden relic, a relic they believed held great power. The realization hit them hard. The spirits weren't just haunting the monastery. They were guarding it, and they were not friendly. "We need to get out of here," Mike said, panic rising in his voice. "This place is cursed." But the monastery had other plans. The walls seemed to shift, turning the corridors into a labyrinth. Their flashlights flickered, and the whispers turned into screams. Tom, now fully possessed, attacked the group, his eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The friends fought him off, but he was stronger than they remembered. Sarah and Jenny managed to lock him in a room, but they knew it was only a temporary solution. "We have to find a way to banish these spirits," Sarah said, flipping through the journal. "There must be something in here." They found a reverse ritual described in the final pages. a dangerous procedure that could banish the spirits but required them to perform it at the altar. With no other options, they decided to risk it. The friends gathered around the altar, the air thick with tension. Sarah began the ritual, chanting the ancient words written in the journal. The spirits, realizing what was happening, grew violent. Shadows turned into forms, attacking them with ferocity. The room filled with a deafening roar, and the walls shook. Tom broke free from his confinement, his face twisted with rage. He lunged at them, but Dave and Mike held him back, giving Sarah the time she needed to complete the ritual. With a final, desperate shout, she finished the incantation. A blinding light filled the room, and the spirits screamed in agony. The ground shook, and the walls seemed to crumble. When the light faded, the spirits were gone, and Tom lay unconscious on the floor. The monastery was silent once more. The friends, battered and exhausted, helped Tom to his feet. He was himself again, though deeply shaken by the experience. They made their way out of the monastery, the first light of dawn breaking through the trees. The forest, once menacing, now seemed almost peaceful. They didn't speak much on the hike back, each lost in their thoughts. Only Mike and Sarah made it out unscathed, physically at least. The ordeal had left them all scarred, haunted by the memories of what they had faced. They vowed never to speak of the monastery again, hoping to leave the horrors behind. As they reached the edge of the forest, a faint whisper echoed in the distance, a chilling reminder of the evil that still lurked in the shadows of St. Augustine Monastery.